Today on Family Talk.
Welcome, everyone, to Family Talk. I'm Roger Marsh with your host, psychologist and best-selling author Dr. James Dobson. And if you haven't heard, these radio broadcasts are now part of the James Dobson Family Institute. Our ministry has grown this past year to better fight for the family for decades to come. This institute is built on three other pillars in addition to the Family Talk broadcast. First is the Public Policy Center, which informs families how the political arena is impacting them. The second pillar is our educational partnership that seeks to equip the next generation of Christians. And lastly, it's the Dobson Digital Library that stores all of Dr. Dobson's resources from the last 40 years. Learn more about each of these areas of focus we have developed by visiting dobsonfamilyinstitute.com. Now, today on Family Talk, Dr. Dobson is joined by a very special guest, Tim Tebow. Of course, Tim is a well-known Christian athlete, New York Times best-selling author, and international humanitarian. Tim won 2 national football championships with the University of Florida and was awarded the Heisman Trophy for being the best collegiate player of the year. Shortly after graduating, he started the Tim Tebow Foundation, which helps millions of people around the world. Tim is now pursuing his dream to play professional baseball. He's currently an outfield prospect for the New York Mets AA affiliate. Tim also works as a college football analyst for ESPN. Now, as you can tell, he has an extremely demanding schedule and is a highly sought-after speaker. But despite his busyness, Tim still manages to prioritize his relationship with God above all else. Today, he'll be talking with Dr. Dobson by phone about his new book, This Is the Day. Dr. Dobson also commends Tim for his perseverance through adversity and asks about his various ministries as well. Let's listen in now to their conversation on this edition of Family Talk.
What an incredible journey you've had, Tim. I'm a football fan and a sports enthusiast, and I'm like millions of other people who have followed your career, your highs and lows through the years, and we have great love and respect for you. I can't tell you how honored I am to have you join us today.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for the impact that you've had over so many years and so many millions of people, and just made such an impact for the kingdom of God. So thank you for your stance and everything that you've done.
Tim, you were raised in a godly home, weren't you?
I've been very fortunate to have 2 amazing parents that have been my biggest role models, and one, my dad, being someone who has the most passion and courage for the love of Jesus of anyone that I've met, and then my mom, I'm not sure I've ever heard her say something bad about someone else. And so, just having 2 parents I can look up to that I want to be like, and they're my biggest role models, made such an impact for me.
I know it's a story that's been bandied about for many years, but I really would like you to tell very quickly about your mother and the advice she got to abort you when she was carrying you.
Of course. My dad was in the Philippines, and he was praying and really weeping over so many babies that weren't being given a chance, and he asked God to give him another baby, and prayed for me by name, Timothy, and that he would make him a preacher. And then he went home and told my family, and so my mom was like, okay. And then they started praying, and then my mom got pregnant with me, and at first the doctors didn't even think that I was a baby. At first they thought that I was a tumor. And so actually my brothers and sisters, they nicknamed me Timmy the Tumor. So I had to send that off for a little while. But then they realized that I was a baby, but there were so many things that went wrong in the pregnancy. And they found out the placenta wasn't attached. And so I was a miracle baby. And the doctors told my mom that she needed to abort me to give herself a chance. And she just decided to trust God with the rest of my family. They continued to pray, and I was born very malnourished, but I made it for it pretty quickly, and I'm so thankful to have a mom that trusted God with her life and my life, and gave me a chance.
You and I have that in common, Tim, because I was a bit of a miracle baby too. My mother's bone structure did not allow her to give birth in the natural way, and in those days, cesarean sections were dangerous and really rare. And the doctor told her that she could die if she gave birth to me or tried to. and advised her not to get pregnant. My dad had been praying about this, and he wrote her a letter, and I have the letter that my mother wrote after that. We found it just a couple of years ago, where she said that my dad called her and said, "I've been praying about this, and the Lord said you're going to have a baby. It's going to be a boy, and you're going to be okay." And I was born by cesarean section, and my mother came through it fine, but she could never have another child. So I'm an only child, but I'm fortunate to be alive, and I have a similar mission that you have, which is to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's what burns within you, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. There's just nothing that is more important and nothing that's even close. And we want to be able to share the hope of Jesus and what he brings and the joy and being able to heal the broken and just love people. And I really feel like, there's so many people that could get on here and they could talk theology and talk a lot of different things. And for me, I try to break it down to two really applicable things in my life. Is that, we're called to love God and love other people. And I want to do that in the best way possible and share the love of Jesus with as many people as I can. And not just share it, but also show the love of Jesus with people and, in every way that we can, in every avenue or platform that we have, is to be able to try to show Jesus to the world. And, we have a world that there's a lot of people that are hurting and broken, and they need the hope that Jesus brings.
Well, that is the passion of your life. I know you have this great desire to do humanitarian work. I said in the introduction to you, Tim, that you have a number of ministries and organizations that you've founded. One of them's called Night to Shine. Tell us what that is.
Well, Night to Shine is a worldwide prom for people with special needs. And it's my favorite night of the year. And it's a night where we want to be able to be the hands and feet of Jesus and love people with special needs and celebrate them. And all around the world, people with special needs will be celebrating. This past year, we had 537 different locations, different proms that were celebrating people with special needs. And, it's so special to me because we do it to be able to celebrate all these people with special needs and give them the night of their life where every single one of them will be crowned king and queen of the prom. But really why we do that is because we believe the God of this universe looks at them that way every single day of their lives. And they are loved and they do have purpose, passion, and meaning. And we want to be able to celebrate with them. And then we also want to be able to have the church be out there and loving people in different denominations. And so it's so great. This last year we had 33 different denominations working together. And in my life, I don't know if I've ever seen 33 denominations work together. And so we're having denominations work together, and we're having volunteers come from all over. And sometimes it's hard to get people to come volunteer for things. But for this, if you say, hey, come celebrate on a red carpet, cheer for, our friends with special needs coming down, or come be a buddy, or dance with them, or sing with them, or be in the karaoke room, or, and it's just being able to rally people. And, it's been incredible from it is so many of the churches where we host it have started special needs ministries because there is such a place to be able to celebrate these people with special needs and their families and love them and make them a part of the church. Honestly, I feel like it's one of my biggest callings is to be able to really fight for people that can't fight for themselves. And I think the special needs community is a big part of that. One of your ministries, Timmy's Playhouse. Tell us what that is. Something that I actually started in college, and I just love it is, when people are going through tough times in hospitals and cancer and they're there for long periods of time, is we want to be able to give them an opportunity where they can still be a kid and get away. And so we built these homes where they can escape and play video games and Bible verses and encouragement. And there's locker rooms and fun places for them to get away and be loved and be encouraged and be mentored. And so just to be able to invest in people that are going through tough times where they feel like they're not going through it alone.
Tim, your Christian faith has been lived out in public. You've taken a lot of heat and persecution for that, haven't you?
Sometimes, yes, sir. But it's never promised that it's going to be easy. It's just, we do it because we believe it's going to be worth it. It's worth it to stand up for Jesus.
Yeah. Well, have you had any regrets about looking back on that difficulty that's come your way?
No, sir. Never standing up for what's right or standing up for Jesus. If anything, you just wish you did it more. And those are things that I'll never regret. There are different times in my life I've made mistakes and I've fallen short, and I'm so grateful for the grace of God. But, being able to have a platform to share the name of Jesus and to show him off and to try to make him known to the world, that's something that I'll never forget.
Tim, you are an inspiration to me and millions of other people. Let's talk about your new book. This is your fourth book. This one's entitled This Is the Day. The subtitle is Reclaim Your Dream, Ignite Your Passion, and Live Your Purpose. And as a New York Times bestselling author, I'm really looking forward to this one. I've gotten it a couple of days ago. Summarize it for me and for us, and tell us what you intended when you wrote it.
Well, it was something that was on my heart for a little while, and I wanted to write this to encourage people not to have a one-day life. So many people that I've been around is one day I'm going to tell my dad I love him. One day I'm going to go on a mission trip. One day I'm going to get right with God. One day I'm going to get on a diet. One day I'm going to really go after the things that I want. One day I'm going to go after my dream. And I just was, wanted to encourage people that we're not guaranteed one day. We're only guaranteed this day. And we need to live each day as if it were on purpose and as if it mattered. And to live every single day as a day where we can have purpose, passion, and meaning in everything that we do. And you don't have to wait till you go on a mission trip to have meaning. You can have meaning, going to the grocery store, taking your kids to school, and also to be able to transcend whatever it is that you do. That it's not just an ordinary task. You can transcend that to find the meaning in it and find the purpose in it and be able to, whether you're leaving a grocery store and there's someone that you can encourage, you can help, you can share with, you can love with, to be able to find the meaning in everything that we do, because I believe that God does have a purpose for every single one of us, and he has a plan for every single one of us, and to live that out. And also, so many times we feel inadequate. A lot of times God can use that in our lives. Is how many times in the Bible did people think that they weren't adequate or they weren't equipped or they weren't ready to speak to him, but he still used them and in a big way when they were willing to step out in courage and in faith. And so I want to encourage people that don't wait for one day, to start living their purpose or their passion, but to start living that every single day and start chasing their dreams and what God has put on their heart, and to start living as if it were on purpose.
Well, what a great challenge from Tim Tebow to live every single day purposefully and for God's glory. I'm Roger Marsh, and we have reached the halfway point of today's Family Talk broadcast. Did you know that our ministry is entirely sustained by you, our faithful listeners? The James Dobson Family Institute would not be able to survive without your kind and generous donations. Stand with us today in our fight for godly family values in this culture. Go to drjamesdobson.org or call 877-732-6825 and learn how you can make a tax-deductible financial contribution to our ministry. Okay, let's get back now to the remainder of Dr. Dobson's interview with Tim Tebow. Dr. Dobson begins by asking about Tim's father, Bob, who is suffering from Parkinson's disease.
I want to take you to your family again. You've mentioned your father a couple of times. You have great love and appreciation for him, but he's going through a really tough time, isn't he?
Well, he was diagnosed a couple of years ago with Parkinson's, and so he's just a trooper, and he's a battler, and he's a fighter, and he continues to go and share the gospel, and just got back from a 6-week trip in the Philippines where he took over 100 young people and taught them how to preach. And so, it's not easy, and sometimes he has to focus a little bit more on walking and his steps and getting there than he used to. But he's such a trooper, and I'm so proud of him and proud of the way that he's fought, and also how he just trusts God in the process.
Well, my mother died of Parkinson's, so I know a little bit about that, and I'm asking our listeners, and Shirley and I will join them in praying for your dad. What is his name?
His name is Bob.
Well, God be with you all at this time. Let me take you to your football career again, and the thoughts and feelings you had about that as you look back. What kind of memories come back? Are they good memories? I know that your career at Florida University and the Gators was almost unprecedented. It's wonderful. 2 national championships and the Heisman Trophy. And then you went into the NFL where things got a little more difficult. But what are your feelings as you think about all that?
Well, I'm just so blessed with the platform and so many of the memories. And, there were a lot of highs and there were some lows. But I'm also grateful for that because, very few people could relate to some of the highs, but almost everybody could relate to the lows, A lot of people can relate to being told that they're not good enough or you can't make it or, this or that. And so I'm grateful for that because I feel like God has done as much or more out of the lows that he ever did out of the highs. And I feel like, it's also easy to say that we trust God when you're winning championships. It's harder when, you're getting cut by different teams. And so I think that, God has used the highs and the lows in my life and hopefully through the platform that I've been given as well.
You tell 2 stories in your book, This Is the Day. One of them's about a woman named Amber. I don't know how old she was. Tell us that story.
Well, Amber is a young girl that I met in an airport. And actually, I was just pulling up to the airport, and I was just trying to have my eyes open to people that could be in need. And I saw a young girl that looked like she had no place to go. No one was around her, didn't know what to do. And so my assistant was with me. So I asked her, I said, go walk over there and reach out to her and see if she needs anything and just care for her. And so she did. And to make a long story short, as that was the first time she had ever flown and traveled, and she was homeless at the time, and she had a flight but had no idea how to get through the airport. And so we took her and we helped her and we got her some food and we were able to get her to her next destination. And through that, we have been able to stay in contact and love her and continue to support her in her journey. One of the things that we try to share in this book is that we just want to have open eyes to people that need help and that need Jesus and need encouragement. So many times we can get places and we're always focused about on the destination, and sometimes we really need to open our eyes in the journey that there are people around us in our everyday lives, whether that's at the airport or on the way to the airport or in other things that we're doing that need our help and that we can make a difference in. And so that was a really special story for me.
When you feel you've really made a contribution to somebody's life, especially someone who is absolutely lost, does that give you the same thrill of a 40-yard touchdown pass to win the game?
It's so much more. It's so much more because, I love playing sports and, a touchdown or a home run or whatever it is feels great. But ultimately, at the end of the day, that won't be remembered and that doesn't matter. But what matters is the impact that we have in people and the impact that we have for eternity. And so when you're able to encourage or inspire, share the love of Jesus with someone, I just don't think that there's any comparison to that.
Tim, I know another ministry that you care a great deal about is prison ministry. And you talk about that and some of the people you met there in this book. Tell us about this passion.
Well, for me, prison ministry has been something that has been very near and dear to my heart since really I was 15 years old. And I was in my first prison with one of my older brothers. And, I just feel like it's a place where the rest of the world has locked them up and thrown them away and, thrown the key away and said, all right, they're gone. And it's a place where I really feel like you can have sacrificial love because there's nothing that they can do for me. And so I love going into maximum security prisons and death rows and sharing with inmates and being able to care for them and share the hope of Jesus in a place that desperately needs hope and needs healing and needs to be able to mend brokenness. And the only person that can do that is Jesus. And so that's something that I share about in this book is some of the stories of how, God has been able to minister in prison and death row and to people really in their darkest hour of need. But it's amazing how, God can show up in some of the toughest, darkest places.
One of your chapters in your book is entitled Say Yes. What do you mean by that?
In this book, I want people to live aggressive. I want people to not be on their heels, but on their toes of taking on life, of saying yes to their dreams, saying yes to the plan that God has for their life, of saying yes to being willing to make a difference. And you know what happens if we do nothing? Nothing. But if we're willing to step out and to take a leap of faith and to be aggressive with our lives, we might fall on our face. It might not always be easy. It might not be perfect, but at least we have a chance to create change, a chance to love people, a chance to make an impact. And I want people to say yes to what's on their heart, to their dream, to what God has a plan for their life, and not just try to get through life, but to actually thrive in life. And there's so many people that I played with that, man, their goal was just to get through. I just want to get through today. I just don't want to be someone that just gets through. I want to try to be able to thrive in every situation because, I believe that we can find the joy that God has for us in every day and in every moment.
Well, that comes across in everything that you do, Tim. And my goodness, it's a pleasure to talk to you and sense what God is doing. What are you most excited about right now?
Oh, well, I'm so excited about so many things. I think it's probably, what our foundation is trying to do is to bring faith, hope, and love to those needing a brighter day in the darkest hour of need. And, we're trying to do that in every area, in every country possible. And whether that's from the hospital or Night to Shine or Adoption Aid or our special needs ministry, whatever it is, we're just trying to bring that faith, hope, and love to every single person that's going through a tough time.
Well, you and I are conversing today on the telephone, but I understand you've got a bandage on your hand. Tell us why.
I just had surgery. I broke a bone in my hand, and so I had surgery, and it's healing up, and it'll be back in no time.
When will you be back on a baseball field?
I'm not sure exactly, but I'll tell you this, it'll be sooner rather than later.
Well, it's a pleasure talking to you, Tim. I love you like a brother. You and I don't know each other very well. We did meet once before at a banquet. Anyway, the door is open to you. There's a red carpet here. And if there's any way that we can help with this outreach to people who are in need, people who are hurting, then I just hope you'll give us a call. And this book, again, is called This is the Day, Reclaim Your Dream, Ignite Your Passion, Live Your Purpose, by Tim Tebow and with A.J. Gregory. When I think of you kneeling on a football field and giving praise to the Lord in front of many, many, many people around the world. And it takes courage to do that. I'm sure you got a lot of criticism for it. And thank you for standing up for what we all believe.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for your ministry and the impact that you've had on millions of people. And we're just so grateful for you. And thank you for having me on your show.
Give my regards to your mom and dad.
I sure will. Thank you,
Hey, Tim, one last thing. My only regret about you is that you didn't go to the University of Southern California. I mean, that was your only big mistake, man.
I hear you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We'll cross paths again.
Yes, sir. I look forward to it.
You've been listening to Family Talk and an interview Dr. James Dobson conducted recently with Tim Tebow. We hope you've enjoyed that conversation and pray that you have been challenged to boldly live out your faith as a result of what was discussed. God can use any one of us to make an eternal difference in our families and communities. So hurry over to the broadcast page at drjamesdobson.org to learn more about Tim Tebow's various ministries and outreaches. Once you're there, you'll also find a link for his new book, This is the Day, which ironically releases today. That's drjamesdobson.org, and then click onto the broadcast tab at the top of the page. Be sure to tell us your thoughts about today's program when you call us at 877-732-6825. Once you connect with us, you'll have the ability to leave a message on our listener feedback line. You can also leave a broadcast suggestion for our broadcast team to consider there as well. Or if you prefer, you can choose the option to speak with someone directly in our offices. So after this broadcast, we hope you'll call us here in Colorado Springs at 877-732-6825. We do look forward to hearing from you. I'm Roger Marsh. Thanks so much for listening today. Be sure to join us again tomorrow as we discuss the impact and burden of mental illness in the Christian family. Listen to our co-host Dr. Tim Clinton address this tough subject with author and speaker Amy Simpson. You will not want to miss their conversation next time right here on Family Talk.
This has been a presentation of the Dr. James Dobson Family Institute.
Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in to our program today. You may know that Family Talk is a listener-supported program, and we remain on the air by your generosity, literally. If you can help us financially, we would certainly appreciate it. God's blessings to you all.